I cancelled my pre-booked vacation because my parents said we were struggling. Then I found their luxury cruise tickets for 8 people. Everyone was going, including the children. Except me. I didn't make a scene. I did this instead. A month later, their lives started falling apart. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't eavesdropping or looking for dirt. I was literally just looking for paper towels. It was a Saturday. I had dropped by my parents' house like I usually did, help around the house, watch Melissa's daughter while she ran errands, which we all know means hair, nails, and brunch. Family Logistics 101, if you don't have kids, your time doesn't count. My niece had passed out on the couch. I went into the kitchen, muscle memory, really. Did the dishes, wiped the counters, even got under the microwave like some kind of domestic unpaid intern. Then I opened the drawer next to the fridge and saw it, a thick white envelope with gold embossing. At first, I was just gonna move it. But the corner was already torn. And curiosity is a hell of a thing. Inside? A brochure, receipts, itinerary, boarding passes. A cruise. Royal Horizons, one of those overpriced cruise lines with the fake wellness slogans like Escape Reality. The cover had some woman in a white dress holding a mimosa and grinning into the ocean breeze. I recognized the brand. I'd looked it up last year when I dared to dream about a few days away with my friends. That dream died quickly. Not the right time for spending, Erin, they said. We're all making sacrifices. I held the papers like they might catch fire. Names, Barbara and Ron, my parents, Melissa and Doug, my sister and her husband, their 3 kids. Chad, of course Chad. No job, no money, no adult responsibilities, but hey, his spot was fully paid for. My name wasn't on there. Not even a maybe. Not even a fine print. I looked at the dates. 5 days from now. The exact week I had asked off to go to Arizona with Kelly and Sarah, my 2 closest friends, who I see maybe once a year if we're lucky. We'd planned this for almost 12 months. I'd saved every spare dollar, cut corners, skipped coffee, skipped dinners out. I was ready. Then, a month ago, my parents sat me down. Mom looked tragic. Dad did the big sigh thing. Erin, things are really tight right now. Melissa's drowning with the kids. And we're stretched thin too. It just wouldn't feel right to go on a trip when the family's struggling. You understand, sweetheart. Of course I did. I cancelled the vacation. Told my friends I couldn't go. They didn't believe me at first. Then they said they understood. I lied and said it was a work thing. Then I locked myself in my apartment for 2 days and binge-watched old sitcoms while eating dry pasta out of the box, because ordering takeout felt like financial treason after that kind of guilt trip. And now? A cruise. The whole happy family. Without me. In that moment, I felt this weird cocktail of nausea, betrayal, and something close to clarity. You know that moment when everything finally clicks into place and spells one word, unwanted. I stood in that kitchen and realized I could hear my own breathing louder than the room. This wasn't an oversight. This wasn't oops, we forgot to invite you. This was deliberate. They picked dates I couldn't join. They knew my work schedule. Mom had literally asked me 2 weeks ago when our quarterly reports were due. You'll be swamped then, right? Oh yes, I would. Because if I found out about the trip and asked to join, they'd have to say no. Easier to pretend I was never part of the plan. I heard footsteps in the hallway. I shoved the papers back into the envelope and slid the drawer shut. Grabbed a salt shaker like I was mid-search for seasoning. Mom walked in, smiling like life was just dandy. Oh, thank you for watching Sophie today, she said, pulling lemonade from the fridge. You're such a lifesaver. I nodded. Didn't say a word. And for the first time in years, I felt something in me shift. Like someone quietly flipped a switch. She kept chatting, some neighbor drama, new curtains, Doug's nephew being allergic to peanuts. I just stood there, watching her sip lemonade with the relaxed energy of someone who just pulled off a small heist. And then she almost slipped. I need to stop by the mall later, before the... She stopped herself. Before what? Before the betrayal? I didn't say a thing. I just nodded like a good little secret keeper. That night, driving home, I tried to name what I felt. It wasn't just disappointment. It was deletion. Like everything I'd done for them no longer counted. Because when you realize all your loyalty, sacrifices, and sleepless nights were a one-way street, something breaks inside you. Not loudly. No blood. Just a soft, clean snap. Like a switch. I got home. Closed the door. Sat down on the floor in my entryway and stayed there. Not crying. Not angry. Just listening to the silence. And knowing this was the beginning of the end. I wasn't always like this. The quiet one. The detached one. The one who keeps her mouth shut and her calendar open. When I was 10, I didn't just want to be part of the family, I fought for it. In small, pathetic little ways. I made handmade cards for no reason. I brought my mom breakfast in bed on Mother's Day. I helped my dad wash the car even when the soap made my hands stick together. They used to say, "You're our golden girl. Always there when we need you." It sounded like a compliment. But really, it was a job title. You're available. You're convenient. You're the one who fixes things. When I was 12, we had this school project contest. Mom said, "Don't get too excited, we can't waste money on little crafts." So I built a model city out of old cereal boxes. Alone. That same week, Melissa got fitted for a custom ballet costume. "It's an investment," my dad said. For her, it was potential. For me, it was don't overdo it. At 15, I got into a summer biology program, competitive, scholarship-based, a real opportunity. All I needed was a bus ride. 2 hours. Dad said it was too risky. Mom told me to see if there's an online version. I didn't go. 2 months later, Chad got a brand new PlayStation. Just because. He's trying his best, Mom said. He had an F in algebra at the time. I still remember coming home once at 17 with a 102-degree fever. I just wanted someone to bring me tea. Just someone to notice. Mom didn't even come in my room. "Melissa's got an interview tomorrow. Keep it down." I was shaking with chills while she ironed Melissa's blazer. That was the moment I decided I'd never ask again. I got into college on my own. No help. No connections. No family pics on move-in day. Mom posted something on Facebook like, "So proud of our independent girl." Truth? She didn't even remember what day I left. I loaded my bags into a bus by myself. Chad was hungover. Dad was in the garage. Mom was cleaning windows. First 2 years of college, I lived on pasta and instant coffee. Worked evenings at a front desk. Sometimes 12-hour shifts on my feet, in the same beat-up black flats that bled my heels raw. Nobody called. And when I called, Mom would talk about her arthritis or how Chad's car was acting up again. There was always someone more urgent. But the second someone else had a problem, guess who got the first call? Melissa once called me sobbing because Doug forgot to pick up the kids from school. He was golfing. She couldn't leave work. I left my shift at the pharmacy, lost half a day's pay, and showed up. No one even mentioned it the next week. Then there was Chad. Needed $800 for something urgent. I knew it was BS. Still, I sent him $300. He said thanks. Once. A month later, he asked again. I said no. He snapped, "Yeah, well, you've always been Miss Perfect." That's the thing. I was always the responsible one. And no one ever worries about the responsible one. We don't get sympathy. We don't get surprises. We don't get cruise tickets. I was only ever included when they needed a fill-in, a sitter, a ride, a loan, a backup plan. Mom loved to say, "You don't have kids, it's easier for you." Like being childless made me the family's on-call assistant for life. Last year I had a date. Nothing serious, just a guy from a neighboring office. We planned to go out on a Saturday night. Friday evening, Melissa called, "Emergency. The nanny was sick. You're not busy, right?" I couldn't say no. So that night, I was watching animated dogs solve mysteries while my maybe date had sushi with someone else. He never texted again. I didn't blame him. Who wants to date the woman always babysitting someone else's kids? And that brings us back to now. Me, staring at those cruise tickets. At the dates. At the list of names. And the blank space where my name should have been. I wasn't just forgotten. I was excluded. That's worse. If someone had at least lied, like they usually did, said, "Oh, we figured you didn't like cruises." Or, "We thought you'd be working." Or even, "Sorry, we ran out of budget." But nope. Not even a lazy excuse. They just didn't think I'd be there. Didn't expect me. Didn't want me. Maybe they didn't even realize how cruel that was. Maybe in their heads, it made sense. Erin's fine. She always understands. She won't make it a thing. Because I am fine. Always. That's the problem. It took me 35 years to realize. Being the strong one isn't a compliment. It's a target. It's a trap. It's the reason people stop seeing you as someone who needs love, and start seeing you as a tool they can use. And I'm done being the one who always holds it all together. Melissa called first. "Hey Erin, listen, kind of a situation." Her voice was already in high-pitched panic mode. "Doug and I just got offered double shifts on Friday. Like, both days. Any chance you could watch the kids?" There it was. The code. Not "would you mind?" Or "is that okay?" No, it was "any chance you could," like I was a vending machine for childcare. Press a button, get a favor. I stared at the screen without answering. On the table was the new book I'd finally bought for myself. First one in 6 months. A thick paperback about a woman who leaves everything behind to open a workshop in Montana. Maybe cheesy. But all I wanted was one quiet weekend, not being someone else's solution. "Erin?" she asked, like I'd already agreed. "I can't," I said. Silence. "What do you mean you can't?" "I have plans." "What kind of plans?" It wasn't curiosity, it was accusation. Like, how dare I have something better to do? "Just plans," I repeated calmly. She went quiet. I could feel her brain spinning, confusion, offense, maybe even rage. She wasn't used to me saying no. No one in my family was. "You're usually free on Fridays," she finally said. Of course. Even my calendar was a public resource. "Not this time," I said. "Sorry." I heard her exhale like I'd just punched her. Then, a curt fine. Click. 30 minutes later, my mom texted. Barbara never called right away. She always opened with what I call a recon text. "Melissa said you couldn't help with the kids. Everything okay? You feeling sick? Just tired maybe?" I didn't reply. An hour later, call. Ignored. Another one. Ignored. Third one, I declined it. And in that moment I realized, for the first time in my life, I was in control. The next day, Chad called. "Hey sis, listen, need a tiny favor." I hadn't even said hello yet, and he was already mid-script. "My car's acting up, starter's dead, I'm stuck. Any chance you could float me like $120? Just till Friday, swear I'll pay you back." Same song, different beat. I checked my bank app. I had $280 to my name. Payday was 8 days away. "Can't help," I said. "What?" "I'm low too," I added. "Money's tight." Pause. But don't you work full-time?" "I do. Doesn't mean I'm your ATM." Longer silence. Then he laughed, fake, awkward. "Wow. Okay. Erin's frugal now. Good to know." Click. Quiet for the rest of the day. And then, the family missile barrage. "You're acting weird. We're worried about you." "What's going on, Erin?" The word that really pissed me off? Going on. Like, for me to take care of myself, something had to be wrong. Like self-preservation is a symptom. I didn't respond. I did the dishes. Watched dumb travel vlogs. Set a tea timer. And for the first time in forever, I didn't feel obligated to anyone. Monday morning, my mom showed up. At work. At my actual job. She stood outside the clinic holding a casserole dish, the family's ultimate guilt weapon. "I brought you something," she said when I stepped out. "You looked tired in that photo." I hadn't posted any photo. Melissa had. "Thanks," I said, taking the dish. "But I have to get back to work." "We're just worried," she said. "You've been so distant lately. Not answering calls." She gave this big sigh. Erin, this isn't like you. I looked at her. That default smile. The one that's been rehearsed since 1992. Maybe this is me, I said. She blinked. Didn't get it. Are you mad at us? For what? I could see her scanning possibilities in her head, trying to figure out what landmine she'd stepped on. If this is about the Arizona thing with your friends, she started. Oh, how smooth. Shift the guilt. Reframe the offense. Pretend we're talking about my cancelled trip instead of the luxury cruise I was excluded from. I'm not mad, I said. I'm just busy. With what? Me. That landed like a slap. She tightened her grip on the casserole. Nodded once. Well, we're here if you need anything. Oh, the irony. After she left, I didn't feel better. Didn't feel relieved. Just hollow. Like something in my gut had dropped out. But I didn't try to fix it. I just sat with it. The next day, Chad sent a meme. Some dumb dog with a beer. We're all tired. I didn't reply. Melissa sent a photo of her kids with a caption, We miss Auntie Erin. I knew who really sent it. It wasn't the kids. It was her. Fishing for my hands. My time. My unpaid reliability. I deleted the message. And for the first time in my life, I didn't feel guilty. It was weird. And it was powerful. My mom showed up unannounced. Classic Barbara. Always with a grocery bag and some emotional agenda, she thought she was hiding well. I heard her footsteps on the stairs, light, confident, like she still believed she had every right to walk into my life whenever she pleased. She used to show up just to check in, just passing by, just making sure you're okay. I used to be glad to see her. Not anymore. This time, I just opened the door. She stood there with her hair pulled back tight and lips pressed together, holding a brown paper bag from Whole Foods like it was some kind of peace offering. I brought you some soup, she said. Chicken noodle. Your favorite. I made it myself. I stepped aside. Silent. She walked in like she still owned the place, set the bag down on the counter, and gave my apartment that familiar once-over. Like she was looking for a mess that could explain why I'd suddenly stopped being their personal assistant. It's empty in here, she said with a strained smile. You should make it more cozy. A woman should come home to warmth, not silence. Thanks for the soup, I said flat. She sat down at the counter like we were about to have a lovely Sunday brunch. Started unpacking the containers with exaggerated care. Then she went in for it. You haven't been calling, she said. You've stopped talking to Melissa. Chad said you hung up on him. We're worried about you, Erin. I leaned back against the counter, arms crossed. I know about the cruise, I said. A pause. Barely a beat. But I saw it. Real shock. Not fake oh no. Surprise. Genuine oh shit silence. It's not, she started. Don't, I cut her off. I don't need an explanation. I just want to know, were you ever going to tell me? Or were you hoping I'd never find out? She stared down at the table. Adjusted the soup lid like that was going to distract me. We didn't want you to feel bad, she mumbled. We assumed you wouldn't want to go. Why? Well, your job. Your schedule. You're always busy. I nodded. So you deliberately picked dates I couldn't possibly make. That wasn't an oversight. That was strategy. Her head jerked up. We weren't trying to exclude you. We wanted it to be peaceful. No tension. No drama. You know how you get with surprises. I let out a dry laugh. Surprises are when someone throws you a party. Not when your entire family goes on a luxury cruise and tells you, times are tough, better cancel your vacation. That's not a surprise. That's a lie. She swallowed hard. It was wrong, she admitted. But we were tired. We just wanted a break. Time together. Without me. Her face flinched like I'd slapped her. We didn't mean to hurt you, Erin. You didn't even consider me. Not once. You didn't forget me. You erased me. She stood suddenly, walked to the window. Don't be dramatic. It was just a trip. No, Mom, I followed her. It wasn't just a trip. It was a symbol. A statement. Proof that I only matter when I'm useful. She turned back to face me. That's not fair. We've always counted on you because you're strong. You handle things. Exactly, I said. You counted on me. You didn't care for me. You didn't include me. You just used me. We stood in silence for a beat. She looked older than I remembered. You don't understand, Erin. Melissa has kids. Chad has his issues. But you. What, Mom? I snapped. I don't have kids, so that makes me a live-in babysitter? A 24/7 ATM? A spare part no one sees unless something breaks. She exhaled slowly. I didn't know it mattered this much to you. Maybe because you never asked. More silence. Do you want us to apologize? She asked eventually. I want you to understand, I said, that I'm a person, not a solution. She moved toward the door. Well, fine. You've made your point. We're the bad guys. You're the victim. Congrats. This isn't a game, Mom. And you think you haven't hurt us? Chad feels abandoned. Melissa cries every night. Your father and I don't even know what's happening anymore. Does that seem okay to you? That's called consequences, not revenge. She picked up her purse. Call when you calm down. I didn't say a word, just closed the door behind her. No tears, no breakdown, just silence. The next day, Dad came by. I spotted him from my window, leaning against his car, staring at the pavement like it was gonna tell him what to do. I went down to meet him. No way was I letting him into my space. He waited for me to come close, then said, You're really going through with this? Cutting us off? I am, I said. All over a cruise? No, I said. Over the fact that you all cut me out without even blinking. He sighed. We just wanted a calm, peaceful trip. No drama. Without me. He hesitated. You always kept your distance, Erin. We figured you liked it that way. Because you trained me to. He shrugged. I get that you're mad. But walking away from family over one bad decision. It wasn't one. It was the last. He opened his mouth to argue, but I was already turning away. Don't come back, I said over my shoulder. I went upstairs. Opened the family group chat. Hit leave conversation. No speech. No farewell message. Just gone. An hour later, Melissa texted. What the hell are you doing? I didn't reply. After I left the family group chat, my phone went eerily quiet. No texts. No calls. No can you swing by? No we need you. The first day, it didn't feel like freedom. It felt empty. I sat on the couch with a cup of coffee and just stared out the window. No plan. No urgent favor. No one suddenly needing me. It felt like the first day after quitting a job you hated, still raw, like the ache from a freshly pulled tooth. An hour later, I put my phone on silent. Then I turned it off. I hadn't done that in 5 years. Because I was always on call. I went to the store without telling anyone. No one knew where I was. I bought fancy cheese, the kind I used to save for holidays only. And wine. Not from a box. A real bottle. With a cork. That night I read a book. No kids. No Tupperware. No Erin, could you maybe? And still, I didn't feel peaceful. The next day, I didn't push that feeling down. I sat with it. Notebook. Pen. Like I was doing DIY therapy I'd never allowed myself because someone else's emergency always came first. I wrote down, when I needed help, who was there for me. Small blue diamond when I got sick in college and spent 3 days alone in the dorm? No one. Small blue diamond when my car got towed and I walked 2 hours in the snow? No one. Small blue diamond when I took out a loan for dental implants because insurance wouldn't cover it? No one. I wasn't being dramatic. Just honest. For every act of help I gave, the return was 0. My balance was in the red. And now? I closed the account. Day 3, I got a call from Carl, a guy in admin at work. Hey, everything okay? He asked. Your mom called the office. Said she can't reach you. Is something wrong? Everything's fine, I said. I'm just not answering. On purpose. Ha. Okay, he hesitated. She sounded kind of frantic. She always sounds frantic when she loses control of me. Oh. Got it. Just passing the message. After that, I emailed HR. Due to personal reasons, please redirect all family-related inquiries to HR. Thanks. A few hours later, Melissa emailed me. Subject line, seriously. You just decided to disappear? Run off? Okay. Hope wherever you are, you're having fun. Because over here, real problems. Chad's unemployed again. Mom's falling apart. And I can't carry everything alone. Thanks, sis. I read it in 3 sittings. Not because it hurt, but because every word was about them. Their stress. Their breaking point. Their struggles. And not a single question. Not one, are you okay? Or we're sorry. Just complaints that I stopped being a resource. That weekend, I drove to a little beach town an hour away. Just got in the car and left. Booked a tiny Airbnb owned by a woman who breeds cats and collects vintage postcards. I drank coffee on a porch. Read a book. Walked by the water. And at some point, Saturday evening, I noticed a strange silence in my head. No to-do lists. No mental task tracker. No guilt trip voices whispering about everything I wasn't doing for someone else. On the way back, I stopped by an antique shop. Bought myself a silver bracelet with a weird little pattern. No meaning. I just liked it. When I got home, my voicemail had 3 messages. All from Mom. Message 1, Erin, I'm just worried. Please call me back. It's not mature to go silent like this. Message 2, we're not the enemy. We're family. And you're acting like a stranger. Message 3, fine. Do what you want. But don't expect us to chase you. We're tired too. Classic. Concern, guilt, passive-aggressive shutdown. I deleted all 3. Didn't even save them. In the kitchen, I made scrambled eggs and put on music. I can't dance. But I danced anyway. Late that night, Kelly, the friend I was supposed to vacation with before my family guilt-tripped me, sent a message. Hey, where the hell have you been? Sarah and I are already planning to kidnap you in October. And this time, no excuses. Got it. I smiled. And right then it hit me, my life had been a background tab. Always open. Never in focus. Now, I was finally hitting full screen. 2 weeks went by. No texts. No calls. Total radio silence. In a normal family, that might mean a couple missed dinners, a few awkward chats, maybe a little tension. In mine, the whole system started glitching. Melissa was the first to crack. Friday night, she called the office. Not my line, reception. Like she knew I'd blocked every other route. I was at the water cooler when Carly from front desk walked over and said, there's a woman on line 1. Says she's your sister. She sounds unwell. I sighed. Picked up the phone. Erin. Oh my God, you picked up? Melissa's voice wasn't mad, it was pure panic. I didn't know what else to do. Can you come over? No. Wait please. Just for tonight. Just a few hours. What happened? Jake broke his arm. I'm with him at the ER. Jules is homesick, Doug's out of town, and Mom. I bit the inside of my cheek. What about Mom? She's been in her room for 2 days. Won't eat. Just cries. Dad's freaking out. Chad's vanished, again. I'm alone, Erin. I'm seriously scared. You want me to ditch work and play fixer for the same people who cut me out? No, she sniffled. I just want you to be here. Like before. Even for a minute. There it was. The first time anyone admitted it, without Erin, everything breaks. You've got a nanny, Mel. She quit. Last week. You've got a husband. In another state. It's complicated. I exhaled. Maybe you should have thought about that before you booked that cruise. Silence. You're still stuck on that? I think about it every time you only call me when your life's on fire. We were wrong, she said. All of us. Just, please come back. No. I hung up. The next day, Dad called. First time since the driveway showdown. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. I don't know what's going on. The house is a mess. Your mother. I've never seen her like this. She's not eating, not sleeping. Melissa's in the hospital. Chad's who knows where. Erin, enough already. You made your point. We get it. Come home. Delivered in that classic dad tone, like I was a temp who skipped her shift and needed a lecture. I didn't respond. And honestly, I felt calm. But they weren't done. Monday morning, an envelope landed on my desk. Real mail. Handwritten. From my mom. 2 short paragraphs. No fluff. No drama. You were right. We messed up. We didn't realize everything you were doing until it all fell apart. If you don't want to talk to us, we'll understand. But if there's any part of you that's willing, just let us know. Any way you want. I folded the letter like it was a medical instrument. Neat. Sterile. Controlled. That night, an email popped up, from Chad. Yes, Chad. The king of sudden emergencies and surprise expenses. Hey, heard you cut everyone off. I was a jerk. Always just assumed you'd be there. Like, forever. If you're wondering, I'm in detox. Kind of. Sort of. Whatever. Just wanted you to know, I get it now. I didn't feel smug. Or triumphant. I just felt still. For the first time, my life wasn't a disaster response center. I wasn't their epicenter. I was out. That weekend, Kelly stopped by with wine. We sat on my balcony. I told her everything. No tears. No soap opera. Just facts. She nodded, thoughtful. Then said, God, that all sounds horrible. But also, kind of freeing. Exactly, I said. Awful. But freeing. Now I know what silence sounds like. And how clean the air feels when you don't owe anyone anything. Next morning, I got a text from a random number. So you're really gonna let us fall apart? You that bitter. Melissa. Just using a different phone. And there it was again, the swing from regret back to guilt trip. Final boss level of manipulation, you're not like this. I deleted the message. Then went into settings and blocked every known family number. Set a filter on my inbox, anything from them went straight to archive. Silence became my boundary. Another week passed. Then one day Chad. At my door. Shaky hands. Cheap jacket. Don't hit me, he said. I'm not here for money. I let him in. He perched on the edge of the couch like it might bite him. Didn't last in detox, he said. But for a minute, I got clear. And I realized, being bailed out all the time isn't love. It's chains. And you were the first one who stopped locking me in. I didn't say anything. Thanks, he said. Just, thanks. Then he left. And in the air, for the first time, something shifted. The first crack wasn't in me. It was in them. It had been nearly a month since I cut contact. No texts. No calls. No drop-bys. I didn't reply to emails, didn't pick up the phone, didn't even react to the passive-aggressive social media comments my relatives started leaving like breadcrumbs, hoping I'd bite. I turned into a ghost, and for a family who had always treated me like their emotional utility, that was worse than yelling. I thought they'd retaliate by going silent, like they did when I was a kid. Pretend I didn't exist until I begged to be let back in. But this time, they fumbled. Because without me, things started falling apart. First crack, my work line rang. Not my cell. They knew better. Carly from reception handed me the phone, raising an eyebrow. Your sister. Sounds kind of panicked. I took a deep breath and answered, already bracing for the classic, you have to. Erin. Melissa's voice was shaky. Please, do you have a minute? I need you to pick up Jules. She has a fever and I'm at the hospital with Jake. He broke his arm. I can't handle this. I let the silence stretch. Where's Mom? In her room. She won't come out. Says she has a migraine. Dad's yelling into his phone all day. Chad's vanished. The nanny quit last week. Didn't you have a husband? He left. Said he needed space. Space, Erin. Right now. I could hear the edge of tears in her voice. Old me would have already been halfway out the door. New me? Not budging. I can't, I said. I have work. You always had work. But you still helped. Please, it's just this once. No, Melissa. Every just this once turned into a lifetime. You want help? Find it. But I'm not your backup plan anymore. Click. My hands were shaking. But not from guilt. From clarity. And freedom. 2 days later, an email from Mom. Erin, we didn't want it to come to this. We're losing the house. Chad took out a loan against it without telling us. We missed 2 mortgage payments. The bank is starting foreclosure. If we don't sell it now, we lose everything. We're not asking for money. Just talk to us. I read it over 10 times. Blame Chad. Blame the bank. Blame fate. Never themselves. I remembered the cruise. The tan lines. The umbrella drinks. The way they posted beach photos while telling me we were tight on money. I pulled up Zillow. There it was. My childhood home. Same steps where I scraped my knee. Same yellow curtains. Interior photos. That awful floral couch. My old room, barely changed. Caption, motivated seller. Price reduced for fast closing. The price was a giveaway. That low? In that neighborhood? They were desperate. Later that night, an email from Mrs. Grace, our old neighbor. Erin, hope you're well. Hate to intrude, but your mom's not doing great. She sits on the porch for hours. Just blank. Your dad's yelling a lot. Slamming car doors. Not like him. Maybe, call? I almost replied. Then closed my laptop. Not my fire to put out. The next day, Chad emailed. Erin, I know you're mad. You have every right. I screwed up. They asked me to sign some papers, and I did. Thought I was helping. Now they blame me. You probably do too. I'm leaving. Heading to Colorado. Maybe I'll figure things out there. I replied. Start over somewhere people don't weaponize your guilt. Good luck. Then I blocked his number. Not from hate. From self-preservation. A week later, Saturday. I was doing dishes when the buzzer rang. It's me, Melissa's voice said. I opened the door. There she was. Pale. Exhausted. Hair in a mess. Suitcase in one hand, 2 kids in tow. We left. The house is basically sold. Buyer signs tomorrow. We have nowhere to go. I didn't know what else to do. Where's Mom and Dad? No idea. Mom's crying. Dad's off yelling at a banker. I'm not with them. I'm with the kids. I stared for a long moment. Then opened the door. One night. Tomorrow, figure it out. She nodded. Sat on the couch. The kids stood silently, like they'd stepped into a museum. I'm done being their crutch, I said. I'm not your emergency exit anymore. I get that, she whispered. Too late, but I do. We drank tea. In silence. She left the next morning. No pleading. No drama. I shut the door behind her. For the first time in weeks, the apartment was quiet. Not hollow. Peaceful. The next morning, I woke up early. No alarm. No chest-tightening anxiety. No mental weight sitting on my ribs the second I opened my eyes. Just quiet. Even the city outside seemed to agree to keep it down. I made tea. Not coffee, tea. That felt weirdly significant. I always drank coffee to stay awake, to stay useful. But today, I didn't need to be on. I just needed to be. I sat down with my tea and this old notebook I used to scribble grocery lists in. Today, I wrote something else. I'm no longer part of their system. I'm not a gear. I'm not the thing that keeps them spinning. That's over. Around 10, I got an email. Transaction complete. Property sold. Just like that. The house I grew up in, gone. Officially no longer ours. I stared at the message like it was a final credits screen. Series finale. Fade to black. I thought I'd feel grief, loss, nostalgia. Instead, relief. Pure, clean relief. Like I'd been holding the coffin lid open for years and finally let it close. Around noon, there was a knock. I wasn't expecting anyone. It was Dad. Alone. Empty hands. No guilt gifts, no apology casserole. Just him. And his face. Tired. Uncertain. Can I come in? He asked. Not like a father who assumed. Like a man who knew he lost the right to assume. Just for a minute, I said. He stepped inside. Looked around, not judgmentally. More like he was trying to picture a life that didn't orbit him. Your mom's at a motel, he said. Says she can't sleep. Says she keeps dreaming about your room. I didn't say anything. I picked up some work. It's nothing special, but it's something. Melissa's in Ohio with Doug's parents. Chad's gone. We're not a family right now. I leaned against the kitchen counter. Because I stopped holding everything together? He didn't argue. He nodded. I thought we were strong. But it turns out, we were just leaning on you. We called it independence, but really, we were just draining you. I didn't see it. None of us did. You were just always capable. And alone. Still, I felt nothing sharp. No urge to yell. No urge to hug. Just stillness. I didn't come to ask for help, he said. Not money. Not a place to stay. I just wanted to say I get it now. Late as hell. But I get it. I walked to the door and opened it. You said what you needed to say. Time to go. He didn't argue. He stood. Nodded once. I hope someday. I hope so too, I said. And shut the door. Not with a slam. Just closed it. And then I cried. Not from pain. From relief. The following week, I took a solo trip. Savannah, Georgia. Booked a little Airbnb cottage with wrought iron rails and a wraparound porch. Every morning, I drank tea on the steps and watched the city stretch itself awake. One morning, an older woman passed by with a dog. She smiled and said, "First time visiting? You've got that look, like someone who just hit reset on life." I smiled back. Close. I just stopped living everyone else's. She nodded, like she knew exactly what that meant. And kept walking. I sat there, letting the breeze nudge my shoulder. And for the first time in years, the space inside me wasn't hollow. It was open. Free. And that felt better than forgiveness. It felt like coming home to myself. What do you think? Did I go too far? Or was it the only thing I could do? Let me know in the comments. And hit subscribe. I've got more stories coming.